Hello there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and today, finally back with this video that I've been promising for like 2 years since the channel started. You all saw me do the quest to get these issues, and I've been meaning to show them off now that I finished the run quite a while ago. However, uh, I was planning on reading them first, and I still haven't done that. So I decided, you know what, we're just going to show them off. And what is it I'm showing off? It's the complete run of the Patsy Walker soap opera era, starting in Patsy and Hedy 95, continuing over into Patsy Walker 116, and running through the end of both titles. There's some surprises coming up. There's some twists. There's some wild turns. Again, I haven't read all of them yet. I've read a few of them. But I do know from what I have read and from what I've looked at that there's some unexpected stuff happening. And one of the most unexpected things that happens is actually where it starts. So the whole reason that I got this run to begin with is, yes, as you know, I'm a big fan of Archie comics, and Patsy Walker, starting in 1945, was basically Marvel's answer to Archie, right? So it's kind of like if you imagine in Archie comics, if you imagine that Betty's the main character, that's basically what it is, because there's Patsy, who's like the all-American gal. There's Hedy, who's her snooty best friend. That's the Veronica character. And then there's Buzz, the guy that they're both into. And then there's more of a sporting cast. And so this carried on for decades, into the early 60s, so almost 20 years. And then all of a sudden, Stan Lee does this. Now, it's a little hard, as we're going to talk about, to untangle exactly who does what, but this has got the fingerprints of Stan Lee all over it, because all of a sudden in this issue, they finally graduate from high school. After being high school students for almost 20 years in the comics, they graduate from high school, and the series changes from a teen humor book into a soap opera book where basically Patsy and Hedy and their friends are now graduated, and they have to decide what they're going to do. They're going to go to college. Are they going to go get jobs? What are they all going to do? And so it becomes like a soap opera. And I'm a big fan of soap operas, even more than I am teen humor books. And so just changing the lighting a little bit. And so, I had to pick these up. There's one particular storyline in here that I'll get to that I have not finished reading yet, but it has specific interest to me, as some of you already know. But starts here, Patsy and Hedy, number 95, cover dated August, and I don't know what year, but I think probably 64, but it might be 63 even. It might be 63 even. Now that I'm saying that out loud. 64. August 1964. Patsy and Hedy 95. Special graduation issue. It says on it, the story you've been waiting for. The girls graduate high school and prepare to face a new life. When they say you've been waiting for it, they really mean it. Yeah, you've been waiting 19 years for this story. So we got Al Hartley on art. Al Hartley has been the artist in this series since the early mid-50s. So he's been on a long time. One thing that's super interesting about these to me, and is very different from anything else going on really anywhere in comics. I don't know if this is the first time this was done in comics, but these two titles actually go back and forth. So I've sorted them out so they're in reading order, because as you can see, Patsy and Hedy 95 special graduation issue, cover dated August 64. In the other book, Patsy Walker, also cover dated August 64, and it says, after graduation, what? College or a career? See what fate has in store for pretty Patsy, the girl who could be you. So this is a situation where we have two titles that actually go back, that have a continuity that goes back and forth. And while some of them are self-contained stories, as we'll see, like these, some of them are not self-contained stories, and you actually need to read both titles simultaneously, going back and forth. It's very unusual for them to even be doing crossovers back at that time because of the distribution, because it was felt like, kids may not ever see the second half and blah, blah, blah. But this is the earliest that I can think of where they had an ongoing continuity that went back and forth between two titles. I mean, a long time before any other comic, even books that had multiple titles, characters that had multiple titles, Superman, Batman, that sort of thing, they didn't have it like an interlacing continuity, but this does. Patsy Walker breaking the rules. And so what do they do? Well, they actually, Patsy and Hedy, they don't go to college. They go into the workforce. And that's where we get, starting with issue 96, Patsy and Hedy, career girls. And so it becomes like a big city soap opera. They basically move to the big city. They become roommates and they get jobs at the same place. Patsy's thinking, I can't let Mr. Trent down. Mr. Trent's going, remember, Patsy, you're going on your first assignment. You mustn't fail. And then Hedy's thinking, she'll fail all right. Little Hedy made sure of that. Has a new romance entered Patsy's life as she begins her career? You just can't miss Patsy in Love. It's got everything. It has everything. 117. Patsy Walker, October 64. The prettiest gal in town. Now, meanwhile, and here's where my big primary interest in these is, besides the soap opera, besides the romance, besides the teen humor, and besides the groundbreaking stuff from Stanley and company, this is the earliest, it's not the earliest Vietnam comic, but it's one of the earliest and definitely the earliest ongoing major Vietnam-centered storyline, because when they go into the workforce, Buzz Baxter, the boyfriend, goes into the military, and he's eventually going to be sent to Vietnam. So, here's the cover, 117. And this lady is saying, you expected to see Private Buzz Baxter? Didn't anyone tell you about him? He's become the biggest Romeo in camp. He's not the kind of boy who'd remember the girl back home. Sorry, Red. Pretty Patsy learns that being a soldier sweetie can sometimes lead to heartbreak. More to come. Patsy and Hedy 97, Career Girls, December 64. Love this era. It's when Marvel had just introduced the corner boxes, which I believe were designed by Steve Ditko. I really like the early era where the number is separate from the corner box. Who is this glamorous... Sorry, let's start over. Who is this new glamorous threat to Patsy and Hedy? Don't miss the sensational romantic developments which are in store. Oh no, this isn't the way I planned it. Who is the girl between? I love the design of these covers. Patsy Walker 118, the new Patsy Walker 118. I trusted you, Mac, and you failed me, just when I thought I had won your heart. We all tried to warn you, Patsy, but you wouldn't listen. And now, it's too late. There's a new man, buzzes off, being a Romeo, in the army. That frees up Patsy to play the field. Never before have you seen such dramatic emotion in a tale of real romance. Your heart will surely thrill to The Wrong Man for Patsy. Patsy and Hedy 98, Career Girls. Marry me, Patsy, the romantic thriller you've been waiting for. I never dreamed that Patsy would really say yes to Ted Trent. Now remember, Ted Trent is the boss. We saw him on the cover of the first issue, I think 96, when they had gotten hired. So here we are, just 2 issues later, but several issues because of the going back and forth. And Ted Trent is proposing? What? Number 119. We get Buzz is back in the picture here. We haven't forgotten about Buzz. So here we have the third friend in the group. So instead of a blonde, the Betty character, we have, Patsy is a redhead, and Hedy is a brunette. But the third girl in the group is Nan. She just has brown hair. They don't have a blonde friend. Nan says, Patsy, if you're so in love with Buzz, why have you been meeting another boy? Who told you I'm seeing someone else, Nan? And then Hedy says, excuse me, nobody has to tell us, Pat. We have eyes. Can you solve the romantic mystery of Patsy's secret boyfriend? Here's a clue. It's that guy. I'm betting they're not actually dating either. Patsy and Hedy Career Girls, number 99. How did it happen? Suddenly, without any warning, I've lost the one I love to Hedy. Yes, Hedy is going off with Buzz. What? But wait, what's this up here? Who is this handsome new man who has caused such a dramatic change in Patsy's life? Thrilling, because it's based on true life. Trust me, my love. Patsy Walker, 120. There's a lot of infighting here. Now, Nan is a nurse. It's important for this story anyway. Hedy Wolf, how can you speak about Nancy that way? It just isn't fair. And then Buzz is breaking up the fight. Patsy, dear, don't. But Nan is overhearing it. She's heard what's been said about her. Why is poor Nan the subject of this trouble between Patsy and Hedy? A truly human tale awaits you. So this isn't about badgers. This isn't about robots. It's not about inanimate objects. It's not just like a piece of metal piping with faces painted on it. It's a truly human tale. The question that must be answered. What will we do about Nancy Brown? I love the text boxes. I think you probably figured that out. But we are about to get into the big storyline. The big storylines. Not quite yet, but here we go. Patsy and Hedy Career Girls 100. Now, nothing is made about the fact that this is the 100th issue. So we're going to celebrate that now. It's a little bit late. June 1965. So this series has been waiting 57 years for someone to celebrate that it hit 100 issues. But here it is. Issue 100. I'll show you the cover and then I'll read all the dialogue because I love it. And there is a lot. To be fair, there's a lot on some of these. But I still love it. What happens when two young ladies finally leave home to make their way in the world? So I guess maybe their jobs were in town before, and now that this is where they moved to the city. Like I said, I haven't read them. I know that they end up in the city. She's packing a picture of Buzz in her suitcase. Buzz, my darling, a new chapter of my life is beginning. How I hope, I pray, that it won't make any difference between us. And then Hedy thinks, I've always had everything I ever wanted. Always had my parents to turn to when I needed someone. But now, for the first time, I'm really on my own. And so is Patsy. Well, they're together, but yes. A new life begins for Patsy and Hedy when a girl becomes a woman. Okay, the big storyline's starting here. Patsy's in the city. She meets a man. This man's going to be a recurring character. First of all, great cover. Love the colors. We still have this design I like where the numbering is separate from the corner box. Classic romance cover. Love the cityscape. And I should say that Ella Hartley did some great pure romance covers for Alice back in the early 50s. Another spring, another city, another love. The story that answers the questions every girl must ask. Forget Buzz Baxter, my darling. Say the words that will make you mine. A romantic drama you'll never forget because each bittersweet episode could actually be happening to you. Patsy Walker, 121. Now, this guy here is a reporter. This is very important. He's like with the AP or something. I'm not sure, but he is a reporter. Very important to the story because what happens is Buzz is sent to Vietnam somewhere during this period. She goes to the city, Buzz goes to Vietnam. Patsy and Hedy 101. Have you ever waited anxiously and hopefully for a towering moment of joy? If you have, then you will surely want to share this emotional experience with Patsy. There's a huge surprise in store for you both. Buzz, my darling Buzz. So she thinks she's going to have this wonderful reunion with Buzz. But the other people know better. I tried to warn her, but she wouldn't listen. Stop her, Hedy. If she sees him now, it'll break her heart. Who is the man with Nan? And most important of all, why will Patsy find heartache when she cries, I see my love again? Well, the reason is because Buzz has been seriously wounded in action in Vietnam. And our newspaper reporter friend was actually there as a reporter and helped save Buzz's life. So there's going to be a love triangle here. So this is great stuff. 122, another great romance cover. It's all my fault. Will he ever forgive me, or is this the end of our romance? No greater love, a drama from Patsy's life straight to your heart. Poor Patsy. No one can help now. Love the cover, love the color scheme. One thing that's super interesting about this particular storyline, groundbreaking, right? You might be thinking to yourself, this has got Stanley's fingerprints all over it. Boy, this guy knows how to really write some cutting-edge drama, which is totally true. And it does feel like the sort of groundbreaking stuff that he would be doing. But in point of fact, these last few issues here of Patsy Walker, there's no credits in the Patsy and Hedy yet. But these last few issues of Patsy Walker are actually written by Al Hartley. Now, in some of my previous videos, I might have accidentally given the credit to Stan Goldberg, who is not working on these comics. He's working on Millie the Model at the same time. If I said that, it was a slip of the tongue. It's actually Al Hartley, who is both writing and drawing Patsy Walker at this point. This is going to change soon in some unexpected ways, because we're going to get some very unexpected people that start showing up to do the writing on these books. But great cover, super interesting storyline, and it continues. So this is an ongoing, it's not just that the continuity is going back and forth between titles. This ongoing storyline about Buzz going to Vietnam and being wounded continues. So Patsy and Hedy 102, so much love, so few kisses. Great split cover showing the love triangle. Patsy with Buzz. You can see Buzz has a cane. The last one he was in a wheelchair. Now he's just got a cane, so he's getting better. Here she is with the newspaper reporter. If he kisses me, I'll know the truth at last. And then Hedy's thinking, if Patsy doesn't want Mike's kisses, I'll take them. So she's trying to figure out which of these two guys she's really into, and it's all mixed up. It's all mixed up together. And the solution is here on the cover of Patsy Walker 123. Striking design. Interesting, it has very similar with the slanted. Right? This feels very modern in terms of this sort of subtle, like, cover design branding that they use to sort of show that these are part of the same story. It has that same background diagonal stripe with the solid colors, so they feel like they're of a piece. Really great covers here. Buzz, my darling, you can't leave me now. I couldn't bear losing you again. And Buzz says, please, Patsy, don't make this any more difficult than it already is. You'll thrill to 3 tender love stories in one when you read Don't Leave Me, My Love. So good. Patsy and Hedy 103. Drama, romance, thrills. You'll find them all in love's finest hour. Great cover. Okay, important issue is Patsy Walker 124. Mine's a little toasty, but pretty solid otherwise. Super special sensation, The 3 Faces of Patsy. So they have 3 short stories. They're sort of interconnected, and they sort of have different tones. That's the idea behind this one. This is the last issue of Patsy Walker. So here we are, cover dated December 65 at this point. December of 65. the last issue of Patsy Walker. So the series ran for 20 years, 124 issues, but finally comes to an end with this. But Patsy and Hedy actually keeps going for a while. So, Patsy and Hedy, Career Girls. I'm going to redo this dialogue because it's smashing. You are cordially invited to attend Nan's swinging engagement party in this issue. Be on hand. This is the arrow pointing at this guy in the motorcycle, right? This dialogue box is over the moon. Be on hand when this groovy Galahad of the cycle set makes the scene, and we mean like wow. Eat your heart out, Bob Haney. If you want to see how kids really talk, share each breathless moment with Patsy and Hedy as they begin a thrilling brand new career. Now, on the inside of this book, new era. We've just had the end of the Patsy Walker, so it's the end of the going back and forth, right? So, what do we get here? We get a new writer, and it's Roy Thomas. Roy Thomas. Early on in his career, cutting his teeth, but still not the strangest writer we're going to show up with, because I've got one more to tell you about at the end of this run. I have not read these issues yet. I've just looked through them real quick. Patsy and Hedy 105. Is he hero or heel? It's up to you to decide when you meet Rick Strong, a singing super sensation. This feels very of a piece with the stuff that's happening over Millie the Model at the same time, under Stan Goldberg. I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of this. 106. We get a surfing cover, and not the last. You asked for it. There's beach party action and surfing galore in Sky, Sea, and Sweethearts. So, of course, this is a big fad at the time. A lot of these beach blanket, beach party movies, a big thing among the youth set. Like, not the cycle set so much, but the surfing set, I suppose. So, cool surfing cover. We're going to get another one of those, just like we're going to get more motorcycle covers, because here's another one. Featuring the return of Cord Ryan. I don't know who that is because I haven't read them, but I'm guessing he's the guy from on the bike earlier. There's action, there's mystery, there's glamour, and excitement. Be on the set with Patsy and Hedy when a star is born. Now, the cover artist of these is being credited to Stan Goldberg, which is interesting. And this is, now we've had a couple different covers set in Hollywood. And between that and the recurring ocean and beach stuff, it's clear that they've moved to Los Angeles. Not New York, Los Angeles. Patsy and Hedy Career Girls. Number 108. America's favorite gals on the go are all at sea in a watery wonderland of romance and adventure. Treasure hunt a go-go. So we got another, they're not surfing, but we've got another ocean scene. And we've got a new tagline. Now the go-go dancers and like whiskey a go-go, that's sort of coming into play here. Cover dated October 65. Now I'm confusing myself. It might be 66 at this point. October 66. Let me double check that because it's important. This comic is actually in pretty nice shape. Let me show it to you out of the bag so you can really see the bright colors. You can see it's flat and glossy. Look at the gloss. This is probably the nicest one of the books that I have in this whole run. And yes, it's 66. So October of 66. The only issue is a little thumb bend on the bottom edge and a little bit of tanning. So we're almost to the end of this run. 109, we switch from Career Girls to Gals on the Go-Go. Patsy and Hedy 109. A beach party bombshell. As your favorite glamour gals make the scene in Surfside Spies. Action. You'll flip over a really swinging special agent. So we're crossing our genres here because we've got the beach blanket and the spy stuff, which is big also in the mid-60s. Mystery, can you guess the secret of the sunken gold? They're pulling out all the stops, but it's not going to work. And they pull out even more stops because here's the last issue. Issue 110, Patsy and Hedy, Gals on the Go-Go. Coming your way, excitement, entertainment, and ever-loving fun in this surprise issue. The surprise is everything's canceled. Starring Patsy and the Prince. So we got this thing of all of them dancing with nice, good, like sharp blue background, little stars. And then we have this over here. They're pulling out everything, featuring an all-new column about your favorite stars written exclusively by Patsy and Hedy. So this is like 2 or 3 text pages with like little like news blurbs and like gossip column stuff with photos of the hot stars of the day. David McCallum, Mia Farrow, Elvis Presley are just a few of the many personalities mentioned in the girl's newest, most glamorous assignment yet. None of them are in the comic, but they're all mentioned in this column. Right? So this does have technically an Elvis cover. There's a photo, a really kind of bad photo of kind of a pudgy Elvis, late 66. And then it says, extra, extra, a full-color bonus pinup of those 2 talented troubadours, Peter and Gordon. So if you wanted your heartthrobs to be a little dorkier and a little more Austin Powers, Peter and Gordon are the guys for you. So a couple things here. Last issue, cover dated February 1967. So it had a good run, lasted longer than I think most people realize. Now, in this issue, there is a house ad for Millie the Model 146. So that's interesting to see, compare those two to see how they are. Millie the Model, that series lasted until issue, I think, 208 or something like that. So that's got still several years left. But not long after this, just maybe a year and a half, it's going to switch formats and become a pure Archie ripoff book. And on the strength of that, when that gets canceled in the early 70s, Stan Goldberg is going to immediately be hired by Archie and become an Archie artist for the rest of his career. So that's interesting to see that. The other thing is, I mentioned that you get some new writers who are basically, when Marvel's bringing in new talent and they want to try them out but have them like learn on the job, they're throwing them on these books because this issue is written by, any guesses, anyone? Any guesses? Yes, it's Denny O'Neil. So if you had Denny O'Neil on your bingo card for having done an issue of Patsy and Hedy, then you just bingo, you just won. So that's it. Now, of course, what's going to happen is, again, this is February 67. These characters are not going to appear again for a while. During this run, they did appear in Fantastic Four Annual number 5 at the wedding of Reed Richards and Sue Storm, which technically establishes them as being part of the MCU, right? Not the MCU, but the Marvel Universe. Next time we're going to see Patsy Walker is going to be in the pages of Amazing Adventures with a new Beast strip by Steve Englehart. And he's going to basically, that's going to lead to down the road to Patsy becoming Hellcat in the pages of Avengers. And then Buzz, who we've been following here, the boyfriend, we're going to find out that they got married and they got divorced, and he gets turned into a supervillain called Mad Dog, because, it's cats and dogs. It all comes together. And blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, she's on a TV show on Netflix. But really great run of comics. Love this era, and I'm very excited to finally at some point sit down and read them all, because it's super interesting to me what the series tried to do and what it actually did. So that's it for now. So let me know what you think down below. Sorry it took me so long to get around to showing you these, but here they all are together finally. And let me know what you think in the comments down below if you've read these. Let me know your thoughts, because as I've mentioned, I've only read some of them and I just sort of know the gist. But I will read them at some point. So thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.